So I actually wanted to make this video for a while now, but the recent news of one of the NPCs who is a black character imitating a monkey did it for me. So let's rewind for a second here. When Heartopia came out, a lot of us were super excited because one, the game was free, which I mean at the same time it's kind of a bad thing, but we'll talk about that in a second. It looked really fun and cute. The idea of joining towns with your friends was adorable, and honestly, the building was probably the best part. I personally enjoyed building houses, plural, because you can make multiple house blueprints and change your house at whim, and I loved that. But then after playing for lots of hours, and I mean, I was checking in every single day, y'all. And why? Because I was so worried I would miss something, especially furniture. Now, I wasn't too worried about the clothes, but definitely the furniture. I thought I would miss the new items from Bob's store. It also bothered me that the sets only change once a week, but anyway. And by the way, let me know in the comments if you can relate to any of what I said and what I'm about to say. I was so concerned about missing items, and what's crazy is that when you first start out in the game, it's not like there's a lot of items to even choose from. So I was worried about missing out on like 2 or 3 items from Bob's furniture store every day. Wild. Now, with that being said, in order to buy these items, you have to have money, right? And right now, I'm just talking about in-game currency. So every day I would be plucking berries and snatching apples and oranges so I can make jam to sell. Y'all, that takes so long to make enough jam to actually make a good enough profit. So I honestly think most of my time was spent making jam. Now, I know there are other easier ways to make money, like using your stars, but someone said not to do that because stars become harder to get later in the game, and they were absolutely right. And so I just made food and sold it. Again, most of my time playing the game was making jam. Looking back, that was not even a fun experience at all. Now, of course, in the game, you're supposed to do the daily challenges, right? That's the main point. Well, there are only like 5 challenges, and some of them you complete just by standing there because you would have already had the items or you've already done the task. And so it would take less than 10 minutes to do the daily challenges. So then what are you supposed to do with the rest of your time? Then we have the gacha system, which actually caused a lot of players to abandon Heartopia. This became very mobile game monetization heavy, but in an awful way through multiple type of currencies like heart diamonds, moonlight crystals, exhibition passes. It just became so confusing. Honestly, when I first played, I didn't even speak on it because I was so confused as to why there were so many different things. There's the banner system in which you could pull duplicates, and one player reported 70 pulls and still missing items from a set. And then there's the weak pity system where you get guaranteed rare items after a number of pulls. Players end up with FOMO because items are time limited and they're encouraged to spend more and more. And even when you get a piece of furniture, for example, that you want, you can't even dye it. And so it's just there. Now, let me say this. Yes, we all do need to learn self-control. No one is making anyone spend their money for in-game items. That is a choice completely up to the player. Now, there are tactics that games and things use to entice players to spend, but ultimately it's all up to the player. I just think it's so much more freeing to play a game without all of these money grab systems, you know? Some games do this system really well and players have no regrets, but other games make it really awful. I think if a game offered a lot of depth, it wouldn't be so bad. But in Heartopia, the gameplay loop gets very repetitive very early, and there's not too many activities, and it's more on the shallow side. Then we have the developers who are very dismissive, especially in Discord discussions, deleting criticisms, muting players who are asking questions, and not addressing the real issues like the black NPC who ate a mushroom and began behaving like a monkey, and even making these sound effects. That was a choice. So apparently the cutscene is when the player gives Capel a strange, bizarre mushroom through a quest, and then we have Capel reacting to it. He suddenly loses control of his body and begins jumping and flailing around monkey-like. I will no longer be playing Heartopia, not that I was really trying to anymore, but yeah, I'm definitely disgusted and disappointed. Here's my thing. Why do certain things get passed through? Like, you should have so many eyes on things before you release them out into the public, and not one person said, maybe not that. And of all the things you could do to show someone being delirious, you picked that? A choice. Now, the developers did respond on their Discord with this. It has come to our attention that certain players have raised concerns and criticisms regarding the conduct of Capel, an in-game non-player character, following an incident in which he inadvertently consumed a poison mushroom in Heartopia. The initial intent behind Capel's reaction was to accurately depict the symptoms of dizziness and loss of bodily control resulting from poisoning. We have since promptly removed this action. We sincerely apologize to anyone who may have felt offended. We appreciate the feedback that brought this matter to our attention. Moving forward, we will take this incident as a learning opportunity and strive to promote an inclusive and congenial environment within Heartopia. We extend our deepest apologies once again. There's nothing specific in this apology. In fact, it didn't even start with an apology, but more so as a defense, and then turned into a, well, oops, deleted it. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, okay. This game already has enough racism within the game from other players wearing blackface, dressing up as a demeaning caricature, and imitating working in the fields, among many other things. It's just not a safe game, and the devs seem to not care. So with all of that being said, goodbye Heartopia for good. I feel awful because I recommended it in one of my videos for a great pick up and play game, but since then it's gotten worse and worse. So I will not be recommending it, playing it, or anything. But what are your thoughts on the matter? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know if I missed anything. I post weekly gaming news and cozy gaming content, and so if that's your jam, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Also, I'm going to be posting my thoughts on Pokemon Heartopia in the next day or so be on the lookout for that. Like this video if you found it helpful at all, or if you related to it in any way. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!